Warhammer 40k Fluff for the uninitiated.
Episode 12, The Primarchs Part 4, Primarchs 16 to 20. 16. Primarch of the 16th Legion Astartes, the Lunar Wolves, later renamed the Sons of Horus and yet again renamed to the Black Legion. Horus, also called Lupercal. Horus was the only Primarch to not grow up on any particular planet. He was the first Primarch to be rediscovered after their abduction and spent nearly all his life since childhood by the Emperor's side. Beyond their bond of father and son, the two developed a true friendship and would, by the time Horus had grown to be a fierce warrior in his own right, save each other's lives in combat. Over the course of the Great Crusade, Horus proved to be a brilliant strategist, competent not only in waging war with unrelenting force and swift efficiency, but also in avoiding it when a peaceful solution was possible. After laying waste to an Orc empire during the Ullanor Crusade, the Empire had entire legions of the Adeptus Mechanicus terraform the entire landscape of Ullanor into one flat, smooth staging area, leveling mountains and melting stone to provide a location fit for the convention of all Astartes and Primarchs that were within reach to participate. It was there, at the height of the ceremony of their victory, that the Emperor proclaimed his most beloved son Horus the new War Master of the Great Crusade, giving him command of any and all fighting units in the Imperium, the Emperor's direct second-in-command. Not all of the Primarchs supported this decision, but the news of Horus' promotion was overshadowed by the reason for it. The Emperor would leave the Great Crusade and return to Terra to work on a project so secret that he told no living soul what it was, not even Horus. This seeming lack of trust would prove to be the first tiny crack in the bond between the two, which would later play a part in allowing the forces of chaos to corrupt Horus into committing the greatest betrayal in the Imperium's rich history. This will be elaborated on in later episodes. For now, it suffice to say that Horus would eventually slay his brother Primarch Sanguinius and mortally wound the Emperor before being in turn struck down by him. Horus Lupercal was without a doubt the single most influential character in the Imperium's history save for the God Emperor of mankind, and his full story as it is known to Imperial scholars cannot be adequately represented in a single episode. 17. Primarch of the 17th Legion Astartes, the Wordbearers. Lorgar, also called the Arisen. After his abduction, he landed on the planet Colchis, which had regressed to a feudal state from his previous technologically advanced development level. The infant Lorgar was taken in by members of the Covenant, the predominant religion on Colchis, and became a preacher, employing his immense charisma without ulterior motives, but his immense popularity still inspired jealousy in other members of the Covenant. When Lorgar started openly talking about his vision, two mighty warriors in shiny armor coming to Colchis, which he interpreted as the Covenant's god returning to his people, it caused a schism in the Covenant, and Lorgar was declared a heretic by the Orthodox members. After 6 years of war, Lorgar claimed his victory, became the new leader, and a year later, when the Emperor and Magnus arrived, did not hesitate in swearing his fealty. The Covenant belief structure was reorganized around the Emperor as their god, and Lorgar was given the command of his Wordbearers Legion. Lorgar would later turn out to be one of the key reasons for the Horus Heresy, which will, again, be the subject of later episodes, but by the end of the heresy, Lorgar was promoted to the status of Demon Prince. Since his homeworld Colchis was destroyed by the Ultramarines Legion, he has since taken refuge in the demon world Sikaris, where he has spent all his time meditating. 18. Primarch of the 18th Legion Astartes, the Salamanders, Vulkan. After his abduction, Vulkan landed on the planet Nocturne, where a blacksmith took him in. Within only 3 short years, Vulkan had grown stronger and larger than any of the adults in town, had displayed remarkable mental acumen and proven himself a master blacksmith, innovating and teaching new blacksmith techniques to the others. Nocturne had for the longest time been suffering from Dark Eldar raids, and the people would usually weather out those raids by going into hiding. When Vulkan learned of this, he went to the middle of town square armed with 2 smithing hammers and stood ready to pulp any Xenos skull coming his way. Feeling that they were about to be out-badassed by a 4-year-old child, the citizens of this town felt inspired to take up arms themselves and face the Dark Eldar. Owing to Vulkan's leadership, the defense was a great success, and soon enough other towns sent envoys to meet with Vulkan and learn from him, swearing to never again hide from the attackers. When the Emperor arrived in disguise and boasted he could best every man on the planet, including Vulkan, in a tournament they were about to have, the claim seemed outlandish enough that Vulkan agreed that whichever of the two would lose the tournament would forever serve the other. While technically the Emperor lost the competition to catch the greatest salamander because he had thrown his own into a volcano to save Vulkan from falling into one, Vulkan conceded defeat and pledged to serve the man who then revealed himself to be his father and Emperor. Because of this anecdote of family fun, the 18th Legion was renamed Salamanders, who went on to suffer catastrophic losses at the dropsite massacre of Pt.5 at the beginning of the Horus Heresy. What Vulkan did during the heresy is mostly lost to history. It is only known that he remained loyal and used whatever forces he had left to serve the Emperor. But after the heresy he, just like Leman Russ of the Space Wolves, decided to leave and only return in the end times. He was not seen since. 19. Primarch of the 19th Legion Astartes, the Raven Guard, Corax, whose first name was recently revealed to be Corvus. After his abduction he landed on Lycaeus, the moon providing the minerals for the fort world of Kiavar. All workers there were slaves, who took in the child in the firm belief that he would be their prophesied savior. They trained him in urban warfare, close combat, demolitions, politics and philosophy to make him the best leader he could be. When finally, through superior cunning and guerrilla tactics, Corax led his people to victory over their oppressors, the Emperor arrived and gave him command over the Raven Guard. At the beginning of the Horus Heresy, most of the Raven Guard was wiped out on Pt.5, so, attempting to supply the fighting strength the Emperor demanded, he employed ancient knowledge from the Raven Guard's Legion fortress and the early history of the Astartes to create more warriors. Indeed, Corax managed to get his legion up to full battle strength, but at a terrible price. Some of his creations became ferocious monsters, loyal to Corax and the Emperor, but hardly even humanoid. Knowing that to win you have to work with what you've got, Corax allowed these abominations to fight alongside his legion. After the heresy he saw wisdom in the Codex Astartes and split up his legion into chapters, but made the decision to grant his failed creations the Emperor's mercy. Wrecked with guilt, he went into isolation for a year to the day, and then headed out on his own to the Eye of Terror. What became of him since is not recorded by the Imperium. 20. Primarch of the 20th and final Legion Astartes, the Alpha Legion, ALPHARIUS OMEGON. One soul in two bodies, ALPHARIUS and OMEGON were actually twin Primarchs, but since the Alpha Legion's greatest strength is secrecy and covert operations, almost nobody outside the Legion knows of this. They collectively refer to themselves as the one being ALPHARIUS OMEGON, or simply ALPHARIUS. To further confuse their foes, Alpha Legion members frequently assumed the role of ALPHARIUS when dealing with outsiders. ALPHARIUS OMEGON were the last of the Primarchs to be discovered. Since the Alpha Legion is so deliberately mysterious, this Imperial scholar finds it only fitting that their story not be told here. Like a good mystery thriller, it should unfold slowly at the intended pace, and I advise you to go read up on them on your own.